When I was the only one who's waiting, and it's not love when there was no chance of you saying.
Hi everyone, welcome to Twitch Happens. My name is May. I have Tourette syndrome. It's really boring. Rieka, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Rieka. I have DID, which is dissociative identity disorder.
And so, Rieka, would you like to explain a little bit about your pronouns?
Yes. So, my personal pronouns are she, her, but generally we use they, them as a system just because it's easier for people rather than having to associate this pronouns with this person and now you're him or her. It's easier to use they, them all across the board.
So, Rieka, I've known you for 3 weeks now,
Yeah.
and I've never seen you switch, but I know that sometimes talking about switching can trigger that to happen. For people who don't know, I was almost diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder because I have complex PTSD. Correct me if I'm wrong, but DID is is always a coping mechanism that develops after severe trauma.
Yes, is a response to severe repeated trauma.
Severe repeated trauma. Okay. How often do you switch?
It depends. Yesterday actually there was a situation where one of our other alters, she's a trauma holder, Naya, had switched out in the cafe actually with one of our friends. I'm not entirely sure why, but from what I gathered, it was something that someone looked like someone that we knew that was not good to us, to say the least. So she got out of there. So.
Can you explain a little more about, because for me at least, and for all the viewers, because I know I have a couple kids on here who have dissociative identity disorder, can you educate me a little bit more about what it feels like to dissociate?
Yeah.
Are you aware of anything? Because I black out for up to 4 hours.
Yeah. So obviously it's different for everybody, even including in just DID, it's different from system to system. For me, I'm one of the newer alters, so I'm still recently learned that there was such thing as a mindscape, which is essentially like an inner world of sorts where the others kind of reside. Just either a lot of them, there are a lot of us, so a lot of them are in a state of dormancy, but there's something that we call the room, which is essentially the front.
The front. Okay.
So you can be in the room and not be fronting, but you're still present.
Mm-hmm.
Like earlier today when I felt like I was going to switch into a little, the little was in the room. She wasn't fronting, but I could sense her and hear her.
When you say someone's in the room, what does that feel like in your mind and body?
When someone's in the room, to me at least, it feels like definitely like a string of thought that's not my own, at least, at the very least. At the most, it can be an influence on my behavior, like getting more excitable, like a higher pitched voice. As for the little, for example, she has a very high pitched voice. So like sometimes if she has an influence, my voice can go a little bit higher.
Right. Do you ever feel like you blink and open your eyes and you're someone different?
The closest thing I can describe to that would be co-fronting, which is it sounds like you're fronting with someone else. I've only co-fronted twice, so I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I've co-fronted with Naya and I've co-fronted with Karina. With Karina, it was very much like I didn't feel like a different person. I was still myself. I was still my own entity, but sometimes my body would move on its own or say things that I didn't say, and I was just kind of pushed into the passenger seat for a minute.
Right.
It's not very pleasant, to say the least, in the sense of like it's kind of you don't expect it, and it can be very disorienting.
If you had advice to give to any of my internet kids, hi, your internet dad, or sibling works.
Yes, sibling
this is your
works.
internet sibling, which I think means you're one of my kids. So,
I believe so.
Yes.
I guess we're going with that now.
Okay. If you have any advice for your siblings here on the internet, what would you give to those who are being newly diagnosed? Should they look more into it? Is this something they should be afraid of? Is there an easy way to tell your family? Do you work with a professional? Anything?
Don't be afraid of it. It's a natural response. One big thing that piece of advice that I would like to say is communicate with the rest of the system. You can do this through notes, you can do this through recording videos or recording your voice, but even if you can't, like for me, I'm still a relatively new alter. I can't interact with the rest of the system as fluidly yet. But definitely communicating with the rest of the system and figuring out the inner workings of your own system and what it's like to switch, you know, possible triggers so that you can either avoid or induce them in the case of positive triggers. Yeah.
And God bless America.
Ah.
Well, thank you, Rieka. It's been an absolute delight having you on the channel. I'm super proud that I can call you my friend and my child now. I will take care of you as you take care of me. And
Thank you.
so, thank you for being here. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Love you all. And then you put your hand in and say bye. Bye. It's like the end of a 90s sitcom.